Today, I'll be talking about Devilman and Catholicism. Or, to put it another way, heroism in the face of hopelessness. So this might be getting a bit darker than usual. I was raised Catholic, and part of the Catholic canon, for those who aren't aware, is the Book of Revelation. The book of the Bible describes a prediction of the apocalypse, if taken literally. Taken figuratively, it has been used by many groups as evidence that we are already living in the end times. Devilman presents the latter idea in a very compelling way, avoiding common Revelation imagery such as the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. The core concept of Devilman, in any incarnation, is that of a human, usually Akira Fudo, who's possessed by a demon, but is able to overpower said demon and keep the heart, soul, and mind of a human. This person then uses the demon's power in an attempt to protect humanity from other demons. This is very similar to the themes of Kamen Rider, but there's one major difference. Akira fails. For all of Akira's attempts to save humanity, he fails, and the apocalypse happens. Satan succeeds at destroying mankind, and God succeeds at punishing Satan. But Akira fails at his goals of heroism, having been manipulated every step of the journey. Through the course of the story, we see the deaths of his friends and family, we see humanity manipulated into nuclear war and eventually extinction, and we see Akira eventually killed by his childhood friend, who turns out to be Satan. On its surface, Devilman is very much a man is the real monster story. But when you dig deeper, you see that the true message is that we don't have to be. See, in-universe, Devilman is a gender-neutral term for anyone who becomes possessed by a demon, but manages to keep their human heart. This shows that Devilmen at odds with humans who are shown to have weak and hateful hearts. Those who lose themselves to demons and act on instinct by eating humans are shown in an almost positive light in comparison to the humans who lose themselves to hatred and fear and kill each other out of paranoia. In Devilman, heroism and kindness are presented as the correct path in every situation, even in the face of hopelessness. In the most recent incarnation, Devilman Crybaby, there is a scene near the end of the show where Akira is shown protecting innocent humans from those grasped with paranoia, all while his friends are being hunted for even knowing him. The murder of his friends is what makes Akira ultimately give up on humanity. They are the spark of kindness that guides his heroism, the glue that held him together in the face of heart-shattering horror. And with them gone, he sees nothing left in humans to fight for. However, he still has the other Devilmen, and together they go to war against the demons. Even with humanity gone, Akira is still heroic. He still stands against the demons, alongside the self-sacrificing Devilmen. They give their lives and bodies to Akira, quite literally, to give him the power to combat Satan. And they still lose. But even in the face of defeat, even as Akira lays dead, it's clear that he was in the right. As a choir of angels descends to reboot the earth, Satan remarks that they loved Akira, and that the act of killing him taught them pain. This is an important contrast to Akira/Devilman. Akira, a person possessed by a literal demon who fought for those he loved hoping to protect them, and Satan, an angel who denied love and wound up killing the only person that they ever felt love for, only to realize it too late. Satan won, and their goals were met, but that victory was meaningless, while Akira's defeat had all the meaning in the universe. Because, to paraphrase Satan themselves, pain can't exist without love. Pain is proof of love. Something that Devilman has in common with Kamen Rider is that heroism isn't clean. Heroism is messy, violent, and regretfully necessary. This is reflected, much like the tears on the Kamen Rider's mask, with Akira's own frequent tears and affinity for empathy. From the beginning, Akira regrets having to kill, knowing that the demons were once human too. It's Satan, in the guise of the human Ryo Asuka, that repeatedly delivers the message that the demons, unlike Devilman, are no longer human. And it is the murder of his friends that teaches Akira that humanity is not a meaningful barometer for morality. The thing is, the apocalypse is inevitable according to Catholicism, and Devilman reflects that. But just because the end is unavoidable doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to make things better before that end. Many people seem to fall into the trap that because they believe in an afterlife, that means that their actions in this life have less impact, only mattering as far as the judgment on whether they will enter heaven or not. Devilman seems to go a different route. The end may be inevitable, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to lessen the pain of that end as much as possible. That is what it means to be a hero in the face of hopelessness. In this life, we are not guaranteed comfort or happiness, quite the opposite. Everyone born will suffer and feel sorrow in their lives, innocent or guilty, rich or poor. No one is free from that. It should be the goal of every human to lessen that suffering for others as much as possible. And when someone refuses or dares to make that suffering worse, that is when we need heroes. That's when we need a Devilman or a Kamen Rider. Someone willing to stand against injustice and strike it down, even at their own expense. Devilman's tears, or the tears of a Kamen Rider, are tears of empathy, sorrow that their fight must be fought at all. In the West, we have a real problem with tears from our heroes. Do a quick Google search for Superman crying, and see how many images you find. In contrast, search for Superman angry, and see what you find. Superman is what we're told as the ideal in the West. Superman is what we're told a, quote, real man is supposed to emulate. Superman is rarely allowed to cry, but he can be a storm of rage as often as we'd like. In the Green Lantern mythos, there is no Lantern Corps for sorrow or sadness. There is one for rage, and another for fear, but the Indigo tribe of empathy is portrayed as arguably the most negative. There is far less heroism in fighting because you're angry than there is in fighting in spite of your anger. Western heroes are rarely placed in dangerous situations. Instead, writers tend to rely on the crutch of placing the hero's loved ones in danger. By extension, the deaths of characters unrelated to the heroes are treated as less important. Think of every crisis or war of infinity. Think of the untold numbers of people who must have died off panel and how little impact they had compared to the few named characters who die on the page. In Marvel's Civil War comics, hundreds of children are killed in an explosion that sets off the chain of events in the story. But it's the death of a single hero, Goliath, that makes the other heroes stop fighting. It's the death of Captain America that ends the series. It's the death of a single old woman related to Spider-Man that gets Marvel's version of Satan to show up and start offering deals. Where was Mephisto when the hundreds of children died? Akira feels sorrow for every single death, no matter how unimportant to the plot. The death of Akira's own parents is treated as inconsequential to everyone else as the other anonymous deaths in the series. I've seen criticism that Devilman Crybaby doesn't make a bigger deal out of these deaths, but the thing is, that's the most realistic thing in the show. Only Devilman himself knows that his parents are dead. The world at large doesn't know or care. And at that point in the series, Akira himself has seen enough tragedy that he could not carry the deaths of his parents on his shoulders for long. There is no rage, no sudden spur to action by these deaths, only a silent strengthening of his resolve. Superman and Superman XPs alike become murderous rage monsters when their loved ones die. That is not heroism. In an actual fire and brimstone apocalypse scenario, Superman would crumble, but the likes of Devilman and Kamen Rider would keep fighting. Because heroism doesn't come from the strength of your punch, it doesn't even come from your IQ, it comes from the strength of your empathy. With strong enough empathy, neither God nor Satan can take away your resolve. In Catholicism, you are told that the meek shall inherit the earth, that it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter heaven. Many people absorb this as an excuse to not feel empathy for the meek and the poor. They'll be rewarded in the next life, right? So why worry about this one? Regardless of your own religious beliefs, always remember, you might be a king or a little street sweeper, but sooner or later, you'll dance with the Reaper. And as always, be excellent to each other.